Madame Vera was the kind of woman people lowered their voices around. Our staff called her Her Excellency. Even when she wasn't there, she was the first lady of Senator Williams. Tall, regal, and intimidating in every sense. Her gold bangles clicked like warning bells whenever she entered the room. At home, she ruled her husband and her son like a queen on her throne. That day, I said no drinks to the family dinner. We are not commoners, she once scolded when he was just 18. And that day, the apple of her eye had always obeyed. Even Senator Williams, gentle and utterly devoted, had told her enough to never argue. Her motto was simple: happy wife, happy life. And life was happy until that Thursday afternoon. It was around 4 p.m. when the maid burst into Madame Vera's sitting room, eyes wide with excitement. Madam, Ogatade don't come back. You never even tell anybody. Vera's head snapped up from her tablet. Tade, my baby, home? Her face lit up instantly. She set her drink down, her diamond bracelet jiggling as she rose. She had been missing her son terribly these past weeks. His laughter, his constant yes, mom. He had gone on a business retreat in Port Harcourt and wasn't expected to the weekend. Now he was home. A surprise. Oh, my baby boy! Her heels clicked sharply. As she hurried down the stairs, she turned the corner into the living room and stopped dead in her tracks. Her son wasn't alone. He stood there, smiling broadly, holding hands with a woman whose appearance made her skin itch. The girl wore a plain dress, her hair tied neatly in a bun. She wasn't ugly, but there was nothing remarkable about her either. No sophistication, no sign of high breeding. Her sandals looked cheap, her nails unpolished. She looked like someone who worked hard for a living, ill, and she was holding her son's hand. Vera's lips parted in slow disbelief. What is that? She asked. Each word sharp and deliberate. Her gaze flickered from the girl's shoe to her simple handbag. I thought James was your personal assistant. Tade laughed, walking towards her, oblivious to the acid in her tone. Ah, Mom, my beautiful mamacita, he said cheerfully, wrapping her in a hug. Meet my fiancé, Tari. The room fell silent. Fiancé? Madame Vera repeated, her voice cracking through the air like a whip. The maid froze mid-step, clutching her tray as if she had just witnessed a crime. When did that happen? 2 weeks ago, Tade said proudly. I wanted to tell you in person. I wanted it to be a surprise. A surprise? She echoed, her voice dangerously low. Oh, it's definitely a surprise. She turned her gaze fully on Tari now, studying her from head to toe. So tell me, dear, she said with a tight smile. Who is your father? Tari stepped forward, extending a hand politely. Good afternoon, ma. My parents are late. They used to be teachers. For a heartbeat, Vera said nothing. Then she laughed softly, the kind of laugh that didn't reach her eyes. Teachers, she repeated, nodding slowly. Well, how quaint. She turned to her son. Daddy, as she waved the manicured hand dismissively, it's all right, my dear. There's no shame in being ordinary. Some people are born to serve, some to lead. Mom! Daddy interrupted with a light laugh. Don't start your class talk again. Tari's amazing. She's kind, hardworking, and I love her. Vera's eyes flickered to him sharply. Love is sweet when you can afford it. Then to Tari, she said, so tell me, dear, you must have met my son at some charity program, or perhaps he was sponsoring your NGO. Tari swallowed hard, keeping her voice calm. No, ma. We met at a client house. I was helping them stage a property for his company. Oh, Vera raised the brow. You decorate? I design interiors, Tari replied softly. Vera smiled thinly. So you arrange furniture. How creative. Tadi frowned slightly. Mom, But Vera wasn't done. She took a small step closer to Tari, her perfume sharp in the air, and tell me, my dear, which school did you attend? Ha! Please don't say one of those federal colleges. I might faint. Tari's eyes wavered. I went to Unijos, ma. Vera tilted her head. Ah, I see. She turned away, muttering under her breath. Not even a private university. Then louder, she said, well, education is not everything, right? As long as you can hold a conversation and use cutlery correctly. Tari's jaw tightened. Mom, that's enough. But Vera only smiled wider. Darling, I'm joking. You know me. I like to test people's sense of humor. Tari forced a polite smile. Though her heart was thudding painfully, she could already tell this woman didn't just dislike her. She despised her. Fine, Vera said at last, straightening her scarf. We'll discuss this properly later. For now, you both must be hungry. Dinner will be ready soon. I'll tell the chef to make something simple. Since we have a guest. She walked away gracefully, leaving behind an air thick with unspoken hostility. When she was gone, Tade turned to Tare, grinning. See? That wasn't so bad. Tare blinked. You didn't hear what she said? He laughed, pulling her close. My mom just talks like that. Give her time. She'll love you. But deep down, Tare knew. That evening, Senator Williams came home late, smiling as always. Ha! Who is this beautiful lady? He asked. As soon as he saw Tare stood quickly. Good evening, Sir Am. No need to tell me, he interrupted warmly. You must be the one who finally stole my boy's heart. He turned to his wife, Vera. You didn't tell me we had a guest? Vera forced a smile. It was unexpected. Senator Williams laughed. Even better, my dear. Sit, sit. It's your family now. Throughout dinner, the senator and Tare bonded easily, laughing over local dishes, exchanging jokes about the education system, and sharing stories of growing up in small towns. Tade was radiant, watching the two people he loved get along, but Madame Vera barely ate. Her fork clinked against her plate, her gaze fixed on Tare's every gesture. Her smile was cold, her silence heavy. At the end of the evening, Senator Williams beamed. Tare, it's late. Why not spend the night here? We have more than enough rooms. Oh, I wouldn't want to impose. Nonsense, he said firmly. You're part of us now. Tare hesitated, glancing at Madame Vera. The First Lady lips twitched slightly, a smile that looked more like a challenge. Of course, my dear, she said sweetly. Stay. Later that night, the mansion was quiet. Rain drizzled faintly against the windows. Tade tiptoed into the guest room with two mugs of tea. I can't sleep, he whispered. Tare smiled. Your house is too quiet. I feel like I might break something just by breathing. They both laughed softly. He sat beside her, brushing a strand of hair from her face. You did amazing tonight. My dad loves you already. She hesitated, but your mom. Her eyes dropped. I don't think she likes me, Daddy. He chuckled. Oh, come on, my mom. She's just intense, but she's the best woman you will ever meet. Tari forced a smile, though her heart felt uneasy. Maybe she whispered. Meanwhile, in the master's bedroom, Vera paced furiously. I cannot believe this she is. It brings home a girl with no background, no family name, nothing. Teachers, what will people say? Senator Williams turned in bed, half asleep. Vera, please, the girl seems nice. Nice doesn't keep a family legacy intact, she shot back. Our son deserves better. He sighed. You can't control everything. Vera folded her arms, her voice low and cold. Watch me. Months passed quickly. Against Vera's wishes, the wedding happened. A lavish ceremony she controlled down to the flower petals. After the honeymoon, Vera suggested they live with her. Daddy was excited. Tari didn't protest. Vera criticized everything. How can you serve rice without pepper? Do you want my son to die of boredom? You call this ironing? Even the maid knows better. You don't dress like a married woman. Fix your hair, it looks like a broom. Tari bore it all in silence. When she told Tade he would defend his mother, she's just trying to help, he would say. You know how she is? Tari would nod and smile, but each word chipped away at her heart. Pregnancy should have been Tari's moment of peace, a time to be cherished, to finally feel like part of the family. But in the Williams mansion, it became a private nightmare. When she told the family the news, the reaction could not have been more different. Senator Williams had lifted her into a warm embrace. Oh, my dear daughter, you made me the happiest man alive. Tade danced around the living room, kissing her forehead. We're going to be parents. I can't believe it. But Madame Vera only smiled. That tight, measured smile that never reached her eyes. Well, she said, setting her teacup down. Let's pray the child takes after Tade's side of the family. Everyone laughed. Everyone except Tare, who caught the glint of cold resentment in her mother-in-law's eyes. As the months rolled on, Madame Vera hostility took shape, not in shouting but in quiet, calculated cruelty. Good morning, ma, Tare greeted one morning, cradling her belly as she entered the kitchen. Morning, Vera replied curtly. Without looking up, you're just waking up at 7 in my house. I was up by 5 cleaning and checking the pantry. Tari frowned slightly. I didn't sleep well last night. The baby, Vera turned sharply. The baby. Every day it's just the same excuse. Do you think mother would start after birth? You are lazy. That's the problem. She pointed at the floor. The tiles are dirty. Get them up. Tari blinked. But ma, the housemaid. She has her duties, Vera interrupted. And you have yours. You want to be part of this family. Start earning your keep. So Tari cleaned, bent, swollen and sweating. She mopped and scrubbed as Vera watched, arms folded. A faint smile tugging at her lips. At lunch, Vera continued her torment. You're eating again? She asked coldly. As Tari reached for a second spoon of rice. I'm eating for two, Tari murmured. Vera sniffed. That must be why your nose is getting wider. Careful. My son married a woman, not a watermelon. Tari dropped her spoon, humiliated. Ma, please, I'm only teasing, Vera said sweetly, dabbing her mouth with a napkin. You young girls are so sensitive. The staff learned quickly. When Madame Vera was in the room, Tari became invisible. She wasn't to be addressed directly, unless Vera approved. Even the cook began to whisper apologies when giving her half portions. Madam say make you eat small, the woman muttered once. She talk say you no need too much salt. Tari forced a smile. It's okay. But at night, she would sit on the bathroom floor, tears rolling silently as she held her belly. I'm sorry, my baby, she whispered. You'll be safe, I promise. When Tade was around, Vera played the perfect mother. Tari, my darling, she would say, patting her shoulder. Did you take your vitamins? You know I want the best for you. Then, when he turned his back, don't finish that milk. It's for your husband. One afternoon, after Tari fainted in the living room, Tade rushed home alarmed. What happened, Mom? The maid said she collapsed. Vera was calm, sipping tea. Oh, don't mind that girl. She's just throwing a tantrum. I asked her to fold laundry. She said she was tired. Tired? She's 8 months pregnant. Vera sighed dramatically. Tade. You men don't understand. Women exaggerate. I carried you with grace, no fainting, no crying. I cooked for your father every day until my due date. She patted his cheek fondly. You married a weak one, my dear. Daddy frowned. Mom, that's unfair. Unfair? She cut in, her eyes glinting. I'm only telling you the truth. She needs to toughen up. You're a senator's son, not a charity worker. When Tade later confronted Tariq gently, she only wept. She hates me. I swear, she hates me, Tade. He sighed, pulling her close. You're imagining it. My mom loves you in her own way. But deep down, Tare knew. This was not love, it was warfare. By the ninth month, Vera had perfected her cruelty. She made sure Tare's phone battery was always missing. Her calls to that day not connecting. When the senator called to check on his daughter-in-law, Vera would answer smoothly, she's resting, my dear. You know how delicate these things are. I'm taking care of everything. In truth, she made Tare do everything herself. Madam, please. The housemaid whispered one night, sneaking a plate of food to Tare's room. Eat! You never chopped since morning. Before Tare could reply, Vera's voice rang from the hallway. Esther! What are you doing in there? The maid froze. I was just checking. Leave her! She needs discipline, not pity. When the maid left, Vera stepped in. A shadow falling across the room, her voice was calm. Almost soft. I warned you, Tare. You will not spoil my son's life with your weakness. If anything happens to him because of you, she leaned closer. Her perfume sharp, a smile thin. I will personally make sure you regret ever walking into this house. Tare's lips trembled. What have I done to you, ma? Vera's eyes narrowed. You existed. She turned and walked away, leaving Tare sobbing quietly in the dark. When labor came, it was raining. The thunder rolled like a warning drum. Ma, please, Tare gasped, clutching her stomach. It's time. Please take me to the hospital. Vera sat on the couch, scrolling through her phone, unfazed. You are exaggerating again. First time mothers always think the baby is coming too early. Please, it hurts. Vera's tone sharpened. Will you stop screaming in my house? You wake the staff. Hours passed. The rain worsened. Tare fell to her knees crying, I'm begging you, I will die. Vera finally stood, irritated. Fine, get up. Always so dramatic. By the time they reached the hospital, Tare could barely breathe. The nurses rushed her in. The hospital lights flickered as Madame Vera stood stiffly in the hallway. Her silk wrapper soaked from the storm. Her makeup was slightly smudged, but her composure, perfect as always, never cracked. Inside the dimly lit ward, nurses whispered in fear. Tare laid on the bed, unconscious, pale and bleeding. The doctors worked frantically, sweat beading on their foreheads. Madame, we have one baby, a boy, said the head nurse, clutching a swaddled infant. There's another one, shouted the doctor. She's having twins! Vera froze, her expression hardening. A girl? Her voice was cold, measured, terrifyingly calm. Stop the delivery, she said quietly. Save the boy. The doctor looked at her horrified. Madame, that's impossible. Vera's eyes cut like steel. Do as I say. That girl will ruin everything. The second twin, she's struggling, and the mother, a nurse tried to say. Enough, Vera snapped. Take care of the boy. The nurse blinked, horrified. Ma, save the boy. Each word fell like a whip. My family needs an heir, not a liability. Do what must be done. The nurse froze, eyes darting towards the doctor, who dared not speak. Vera turned away, voice cold. If the mother doesn't make it, it's God will. Outside, lightning flashed across the sky, bright enough to reveal the cruel calm on Madame Vera's face. Hours later, the door swung open. Tade ran in, dripping wet, his heart pounding against his ribs. His shirt was soaked, his hands trembling. Where's Tare? Where's my wife? He scanned the room. Saw blood-stained sheets, nurses scrolling, and panic filled his eyes. Mom? He gasped. What's going on? Where's Tare? Vera turned towards him, pressing a hand to her chest like a grieving saint. Oh, my son! My poor baby! She whispered. You shouldn't have come. Mom, talk to me, he shouted. What happened to Tare? The doctor hesitated, but Vera's sharp glare froze him in place. She took a deep breath, then exhaled shakily. Perfect performance. She didn't make it, she said softly. She lost too much blood. The doctors tried everything. The word stopped. Tade staggered back, shaking his head. No, 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 that's not true. She's strong, Mom. You said she was fine this morning. Tade, please, Vera whispered, tears welling on cue. I saw her take her last breath. She's gone. He sank to his knees, clutching his hair. No, 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 no. His voice cracked like a broken child's. You're lying. She's gone, Tade, came a quiet, trembling voice. Senator Williams, standing at the door, his face pale with sorrow. Your mom called me. I rushed here. She's right, son. She's gone. Tade looked between them. Desperate, lost. Where's her body? I want to see her. Vera stiffened. No. Tade's head snapped up. What do you mean no? Vera's tone hardened. Her tears still glistering. You can't see her like that, her body. It's too disfigured, my son. You shouldn't remember her that way. He tried to stand, voice rising. I have to see her, Mom. Please, she begged, gripping his arm. Don't make this harder. The hospital needed to move quickly. I gave them permission to bury her tonight. She didn't want you to see her like that. She told me. If anything ever happened, she wanted peace, not pity. Tade's voice broke. You buried her without telling me? Vera wept, covering her face. I only did what she would have wanted. Senator Williams sighed heavily. Son, your mother's heart is broken too. Let's not torment ourselves. We'll hold the service later. Tade sank back into a chair, shaking. His chest rose and fell rapidly as silent tears streamed down. She can't be gone, he whispered. She can't. Vera gently took the baby from the nurse and placed him in Tade's trembling arms. This is your son, she said softly. The only part of her that remains. Take comfort in him, my boy. Tade looked down at the tiny face. So innocent, so unaware. The baby cooed faintly, and a strangled sound escaped his throat. Tare, you left me. Vera placed a hand on his shoulder, eyes glinting. You have to be strong for him now. Name him what she would have wanted. Tade shook his head slowly. I can't even think. Then I will name him, Vera said gently, in honor of your father's lineage. Ade Milade Williams, the heir of this family. Senator Williams nodded sadly. A fine name. Vera smiled faintly, hiding the satisfaction in her eyes. If we carry this family forward. Later that night, the storm eased into a drizzle. In the corner of the hospital, away from the private ward, the young nurse Chika stood trembling beside Tare's unmoving body. The second baby, a tiny girl, whimpered weakly beside her. Chika's conscience tore at her. Madame Vera's word echoed in her ears. They never existed. But she couldn't do it. This was inhuman. She lifted the baby, swaddling her in a hospital blanket, then bent over Tare's pale body. Please, ma, please don't die, she whispered through the tears. You don't deserve this. When Tare's chest fluttered faintly, Chika gasped. She's breathing. Without thinking, she wrapped both mother and child in spare sheets and slipped them into the night through the back door with a wheelbarrow, disappearing into the night. The taxi drivers had gone home. The only light came from distant street lamps and lightning flashes. Chika dragged herself through the storm, desperate and terrified, until she reached the edge of the city, near the old refuse dump. There, her strength failed. She placed Tari and the baby under a wooden shelter, kissed the child's forehead and whispered, God will send help. Then she ran, heart pounding. Minutes later, an old couple, Mama Ruth and Papa Dan, trudged past the dump on their way home from night prayers. They stopped at the sound of a faint cry. What is that? Mama Ruth whispered, clutching her wrapper. Dan, did you hear it? Dan turned his flashlight and froze. My God! It's a woman and a baby. They rushed over, lifting Tare's soaked unconscious body. She's alive, Mama Ruth gasped. And the baby, oh, the baby's breathing. Let's bring them home, Papa Dan said firmly. Now! As they disappeared into the darkness, thunder rolled once more. All the heavens themselves marked the beginning of something far greater. When Tare woke up the next morning, the woman smiled. Thank God you are alive. You gave birth to this little angel. Tare blinked, dazed. My name, she whispered. What's my name? The woman paused. You don't remember? Tare looked around, confused, tears welling in her eyes. I don't remember anything. Mama Ruth touched her cheek gently. Then let's start again, my dear. You and this little one. God has given you a new beginning. Outside, thunder rolled again. Distant this time, fading into morning light. To be continued. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it. Please like, share if you haven't, and leave a comment for me in the comment section.